Hi there, beautiful creatures, welcome back. So a lot of you are probably thinking why I have not been active on this channel for a very long time. And that is, well, I don't even know if it's a very long time, it's just 2 weeks, but it feels like ages for me, particularly when I planned all these videos for you guys and haven't had the chance to get around to making them. As you guys probably know from my previous video, I injured my arm, my wrist. I have tendonitis, so I still have another week of wearing this and then seeing if it's any better. The nerve damage in my thumb is still pretty crappy and I still can't feel anything in my thumb, so there's that, and I'm also left-handed. But I thought I would do a little deck reveal for you guys today. I've been getting lots of tarot decks lately. Shh. But this one was on my wish list for quite a long time, and then I saw it at the shops and I had a gift voucher and I wanted to use it on something that I would remember and cherish. So I got the, sorry, weird angle, I got the Night Sun Tarot, published by Los Scarabeo, which I have to say their cardstock is really improving. It's really impressing me. This and the fantasy deck starts with a B. I don't know, does it start with B? Anyway, you guys know I did free readings with that one. So this deck and the other one that I got have really been impressing me with the cardstock quality. The box is still flimsy as always. So this Night Sun Tarot is by Fabio Lustrani, and it features a lot of occult symbolism. And recently, my dreams have been getting very cryptic and very occult in feeling. I have lots of supernatural powers in my dreams and I think there are lots of subconscious, unconscious symbols going on in my dreams lately, and I think partially that is also leading up to this lunar eclipse coming, and the full moon lunar eclipse, and just all of that energy is like rising. And I've been really like having issues with my sleep as well, and I think that's all tying in together. And so I thought this deck really called to me at this time because of its occult symbolism. And I also ordered the Thoth deck as well. So I know Kelly from A Truth in Story saying in her chat video that she ordered the Thoth deck and that it's coming, and so did I. And I ordered the companion book that Elise from Wild Moon Tarot, Wild Moon Women, she had on most recently on her channel. It looked really good. It explains all the symbols in it. And I've always been drawn to the Thoth deck, but I feel like now is the right time for me to step into researching occult symbolism a little bit more seriously, so that's kind of my path at the moment. So I wanted to do a little reveal of this deck. I haven't worked with it yet. I'm still doing the Within Without Advice challenge with my Bohemian Gothic Tarot, which has been very awesome so far. I've done a couple of like 5-6 spread readings with the deck, and I'm finding it really clear to read with and really concise to read with, but that kind of creepy feeling that I had before about it has gone away, and I don't know, I think I'm a little sad about that. I was expecting that deck to be a real like heart-wrenching eye-opener, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a really good deck for that, and ritual work and spell work. I say ritual work and spell work, but I don't know if I use the tarot in that way yet. Like, I plan on doing it, but I haven't done it yet. Like, I have cards, and to a certain extent I feel like sometimes I can manifest with the cards that I pull, like in a positive way, not in like a weird way. But yeah, anyway, so I'm looking more into occult symbolism, so I really wanted the Night Sun deck. So this is the backing, absolutely gorgeous. As usual, it comes with a little white book, but I'm so turned on by this little white book because as soon as I opened it, it started talking about the Jung, or Jung, however you call him, Jungian notion, or Jung, or whatever. It's not Jung, it's Jung. Jungian notion of the shadow, or Jungian notion. Anyway, shadow, archetypes, unconscious symbolism. Right away, this little white book has something amazing to offer me, and the fact that it uses a bit of numerology too, and obviously all the occult symbolism going on in it. So I was really excited by that. So on to to the deck itself. I know I'm rambling and this probably is not a video that everybody is expecting of me, but what can you do? I've been feeling a bit withdrawn lately and I wanted to do a video and this is it. Sorry. So I'll do some card reveals for you. I plan on using this deck during the month of April, but I might even start using it before then. I wanted to use this deck, actually I wanted to try and work with the Thoth deck for a bit before using this deck because I feel like that will help me understand this deck a little bit better. So I don't know if you can see the cards. I'm trying to get it into the light. Into the light. Yeah. Some of the images, they're a bit plasticky feeling to me. Like the people are a bit plastic. But as soon as I kind of acknowledge that that's just the way this style of deck is, like I really like the graphic nature of it and the very simple border. And then the richness of like the sacred geometry, like this is the Hermit, you know, and like that being in the background and the way that the suits in the minor arcana are color coded, like that's really beautiful to me too. And some of these images are just stunning. Like I love this Strength card. Like it's a very visually enticing deck and there's so much to read within it that really appeals to me. Oh, the Pregnant Death card. This gets so much conversation going on the internet that I've read about. Because of course I bought this deck and I don't know, sometimes I get a fever about a deck and I got a fever about this deck. So when I didn't have it with me to flick through the images to try and get to know them, I was online looking at people's reviews and looking at you know, people writing about this deck. Sometimes that happens to me. I guess that's the best way for me to describe it. I don't know, do you guys experience the same thing with a deck where you just become, it's like an obsession, but like I'm saying, it's like a fever. It's almost like you can't get your mind off a deck. And you just kind of like want to dive into it and find out every little thing about it. I'm like that with quite a few of the decks that I own. When I first got them, I was very much like totally obsessed and wanted to know more about the cards and wanted to do lots of research, and the color palette of this deck is just fucking beautiful. And I love the cup suit. Like, I mean, just look at this. Two of Cups. Shared heart. And this really, like, this is a deck that you just sit. You pull 3 cards with this deck and you just sit there and listen and look and pay attention. I love that pose. The sort of yogic poses as well. Yeah, I really, like, the more I look at this deck, the more I see, the more I kind of, like, this to me is almost like fallen angels with the halos there. There's something really interesting in all of this imagery. And something really powerful for me about the backing too. So yeah, I became a little bit obsessed with this deck, and when I couldn't look at it because I was at my boyfriend's place, I kind of went online and did heaps and bunches of research. So because I have that connection to this deck already, I kind of do want to start working with it, but we'll see. Barbieri Tarot, that was the other one. That was the one I was working with before I started working with the Bohemian Gothic. But I really do want to stick with the sort of 1 deck a month challenge because it's doing me a world of good at the moment. This is the Knight of Cups. This is funny because this is the card that I most associate with in tarot. Which is really, it's a really interesting depiction for me. I like that he holds a scroll. He's like a sacred messenger or a sacred poet or something. I love the elemental symbols and the planetary associations. It makes me want to learn more about astrology and just sacred symbolism in general. The Pentacles suit is probably one of my favorites in this suit because they all feel like fucking badass just badass. I don't know how else to explain it. I really like this set of imagery and cards, and even when there aren't figures in the scene, you just get this sense. And like this, like chakra system much. Like, I love that because it's not traditional Rider-Waite, but it still calls enough to the tarot system that, you know, it's a really considered way of looking at the tarot and creating a system based around both kind of Rider-Waite and Thoth and occult symbolism. It's sort of, I feel like it's really a deck for modern practitioners of magic. And I haven't even used it yet, so yeah. So I'll try and get through these last cards because my phone does something funny where it doesn't want to upload once I get past a certain amount. Like, I love the one suit. I love all the, like, and how rich and beautiful the colors are, and like the sacred geometry in the background. There are so many layers of imagery in this deck that just calls to the layers of the unconscious. Sorry, I'm like holding it here, like, can you see? Can you see? It's down here. Oh, I don't know why I'm holding my neck in that way. I'm gonna hide behind the cards. But yeah, the fire to me is, this is like a real spiritual suit. You know how fire in the traditional is like, can be related to business? This is like, for me, the shamans and spirit, like fire, spirit, passion, spirit, and energy, and yeah, it's awesome. Like, calling in the elements with this would be amazing. I'm doing elemental style readings as well, where you just shuffle each suit individually and then pull cards from each suit. Yeah, it's just beautiful. I really like this deck. And it feels very sacred to me as well. Like, oh, that's fucking cool. And yeah, I really want to work with this deck. So yeah, I'm not saying Bohemian Gothic was a letdown, but I'm saying that it's not as powerful for me like this deck, or like Terror of the She, or, you know, those decks that are really like, they zing me, like they get me in a very ritual, magical way. And I find myself unable to stop thinking about them. They occupy my mind space a lot, which can be a little bit dangerous for me as well, because that can lead to other things for me in regards to like mental illnessy type things. But you know, I can recognize it for what it is, so I'm sort of able to control it a little bit better. But yeah, that was The Night Sun Tarot by Fabio Lestrani. I really look forward to getting to know it. I do plan on doing a review of the Bohemian Gothic Tarot when I finish working with it this month, and then maybe rolling it over into another month. But I feel like with the Thoth Tarot on its way, with all of these other, with the Night Sun Tarot, I've got like a base of really like solid spiritual work to be doing at the moment, and it feels like the right direction for me. And so I feel like I'm taking in the sort of hermity energy and withdrawing a little bit away from YouTube and even Instagram and Facebook, like all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I am back at uni now, like full speed ahead, and I've got a lot to do there too, so I want to be on this channel as frequently as I can be, but I may not be doing all the things that I had planned for it prior. And I'm okay with that, and I'm letting myself have the time to do all of that because I'm going to be here for a while, so I can do the fairy series at any time that I want to. So it may not be as recent as I wanted it to be, but you know, it's still happening. I'm still reading Witches and Wizards, and it's getting me really hard because the way that Lucy writes in a very good narrative style, like this is the perfect way for her to write actually. Like with the oracle decks and stuff, this is actually the perfect book that she's made in my opinion. And I'm really enjoying reading that, but she does bring the suffering of witches and wizards burnt at the stake and stuff like that. It's really sometimes hard for me to read. Because those people, you know, you're kind of aware that those people were alive and they had lives, and a lot of them were children that were burnt, and you know, it really does hit me sometimes very heavily. And I think, again, that's probably feeding into my whole occultish dreams at the moment. I feel very connected to the ancestry of the word witch and people considered witches, and that hereditary aspect, ancestral aspect of calling myself a witch and figuring out exactly what that means to me. So I think, actually, I would like to say that it all started when I got my triple goddess symbol on my back. As you guys have probably seen on my Instagram, I got the triple goddess moon symbol tattooed on my back. And since then, I feel like there has been a massive shift in the way that I approach my craft, and I approach the words magic and witch, and just trying to figure out, yeah, exactly what that means to me in an occult sense. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. I will see you all in the next video, and thanks so much for watching. Bye guys!